Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Got a special video for you today. It's an interior tour of Independence of the Seas. What's special about it is they did the tree lighting for the Christmas tree in the Royal Promenade. I hope you enjoy the video and remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you. And we're going to start the tour off here on deck 5. And a little something to remember about most of the Royal Caribbean ships. The dining is in the back and most of the entertainment is in the front. So you know we're in the back of the ship because this is near the main dining room. The screen right here is really handy. This gives you whatever the menu is for the next meal. And it's kind of nice if you're walking by in the afternoon to go stop and go, oh, what's for dinner? You know, they do have that in the app, but sometimes when you're just kind of passing by, it's easy to check the screen right there. We have the aft elevators here that go all the way up and all the way down. And this is my favorite part of the ship, the promenade. Now the rooms here up above on the left and the right, these are the promenade view rooms. So it's technically considered an interior room, but you do have that window to kind of people watch down in the promenade. And the people who really had an advantage there were the ones at the other end of the promenade, because that's where the Christmas tree is and where the lighting took place on the second day on the ship. We're passing right by here on the left, the champagne bar. That's a pretty popular place to congregate. And we're going to enter into the Royal Promenade. Now we're going to go down the left-hand side and turn and come back up. The next cruise, this is where the very friendly staff here, if you want to help in booking your next cruise, they can take care of that for you. You do typically get a little added benefit when you do it when you're on the ship. This cutout right here looks down into Playmakers, down on deck 4. We'll be down there in a little while. And right here we have the Cafe Promenade. This is where you can get some grab-and-go food items. Everybody satisfies their caffeine intake in the morning and throughout the day there. Works out well. A lot of seating. Like a lot of these places, they have seating inside and outside the restaurant. And we're coming up here on the collection. I haven't seen this before, but this is kind of the more expensive handbags and everything like that that they have available. Again, tax and duty free there. Solara is going to be anything as far as perfumes or cosmetics. So good prices in there as well. And on a sea day, these stores normally open up about 9 or 10 in the morning. This is the Ale and Anchor. This is the English pub on the ship. And we're going to take a peek over here on the left in just a second and show you that at night they'll have somebody singing and playing a guitar right there where that stool and microphone are. Again, inside and outside seatings. You can see the tree coming up here shortly. And the last thing on this side, other than some of the seating here for Sorrentos, is the market. Now, normally on other ships, the market is kind of where you buy the duty-free alcohol. But they have that on one side and then kind of the logo souvenir shop on the other. That's a little bit different. I haven't seen this setup before, so maybe they just decided to change it around a bit and see how it works. So now we're more towards the front of the ship. These are the forward elevators. And as we curve around, we're going to head into briefly into the Star Lounge. Now, the Star Lounge, again, it's in the front of the ship. It's kind of one of their multi-use venues, and this is where if they have karaoke at night, it's going to be in there. When they do bingo during the day, this is where it'll be. If they have a some type of game going on, they'll typically have it in there. It's a pretty good size space. It does get pretty full with some of those activities, so get there early. And turning around, and now we're heading towards the back of the ship. Going to stop and give you a good view of that Christmas tree. It's a point to remember that stay until the end of the video. That's when I'll show you the tree lighting that they did on the second day on the ship. So there's some other decorations there. And again, we're heading around. And the first thing here on our left is going to be Sorrento's. So this is where you can get the pizza by the slice. There's no charge for that. It gets crowded at different times. A lot of times when we're in port and people are coming back to the ship, they almost want to stop in here and grab a slice or two before they head up to their room and get changed. And that opens, I think, usually about 11 o'clock or so, and it's open late. Next, we have here the Coke Freestyle machines. Any of the drink packages you get will include a souvenir cup, and that will work in the Coke machines. The port shopping desk, this is really handy. If you have a question, if you're going to be in port the next day, you're going to Cozumel, you're going to Grand Cayman, you wonder if something is there, some type of shop or something, they'll be able to answer that for you. Trend is kind of the, I want to say more affordable jewelry and watches. Now, this is the entrance to the casino. So you go down these steps and you'll be on deck 4. I'll show you in a minute where those come out. Vintages is the wine bar on the ship. And again, different times of the day that gets busy. We have the standard car on the promenade for Royal Caribbean. And Regalia, this is where you're going to have the high-end jewelry and the high-end watches. They do have some pre-owned Rolexes. They'll also have new Omega Breitlings, some of those. And then as we come through here, again, on the left is going to be Ben & Jerry's. Now that and Sugar Beach right next to it, both of there's an extra charge for these, but it is kind of handy to have these on board. Take a peek in there. And one of the last ones here is the shop. I would say this is more kind of your sunning activities. If you forgot your swimsuit, you forgot a cover-up, sunglasses, anything like that, you can go in there and they'll have a good selection for you to buy. Guest services here on the left. I always warn people, if you can avoid this the day you get on the ship and the day before you get off, that'll save you a lot of time. And we're going to go across the lit bridge. Take one more look down the promenade here. And at night, they have the lighting set up differently where it kind of feels more like nighttime. So we'll go across the bridge. I think this is one of the nicer features. They do kind of muddy this up a little bit at times when the photographers are taking pictures before formal night or something. They'll set up their section to take photographs so you won't be able to cross that bridge. And right back where we started, just past the elevators. These maps here, get used to these, and they'll save you a lot of time when you're moving around the ship. And as you can see, now we're on deck 4. So deck 4 is the middle deck on the main dining room. So it's decks 3, 4, and 5. We're going to go in there and take a peek. This is fairly early in the morning, so anybody moving around is probably setting up for that morning breakfast that they have here. But this will give you a good feel for the size of the dining room. You can see on deck 3, there's full seating on the whole deck. And then on decks 4 and 5, that's where we have kind of this open area right here. But lots of windows and everything. It's a beautiful setup, and I really recommend you going to dinner here. It's terrific. And they started to do the Christmas decorations here as well. Don't know if I'd want this table right by the door, but I'm sure some people would be happy to get that. And we're going to head back out. So now we're heading more towards the front of the ship. And we're going to go past one of those maps. And before we go any further, deck 4 on either the front or the back is where you can get to the promenade. Not the Royal Promenade on deck 5, but the promenade that you can walk around basically the whole perimeter of the ship. This really comes in handy if you don't have a balcony room. This can kind of be your little makeshift balcony out here. A lot of people relaxing, especially on a sea day, because you hear the waves going by and everything. It really works out good. And we're going to come back here, go past the elevators. Now, right here, you get a good view of the stairs that connects decks 3, 4, and 5. Also a view of the lit bridge from underneath. These stairs are really handy because they kind of help you move around the ship a lot easier instead of always going to the stairs right after the elevators on each end. And on here on the left is Boleros. So this is kind of the Latin-themed bar. They do have a spot for a band that'll play and a dance floor, so that gets going quite a bit at night. Now, one of the most popular things Royals added to some of their ships the last few years is playmakers. And this is probably one of the biggest ones they have. This is a great spot. I've been on ships without it during the World Series, and it was fun, but this gives it that kind of special touch. You can see there's just TVs everywhere. There's pool tables over there, the basketball game, skee ball, this section back here behind the velvet ropes here, a little privacy. I guess if you, I don't know, I think you can rent this out. Good size bar and plenty of seating, but you're going to see in just a minute, the seats do get filled. I was on during some of the NFL games and also some of the college conference championship games, and it was getting pretty rowdy in here. It was a lot of fun. And as we come through here, you can see before we go into the casino, we're going to stop and fast forward a few hours and show you how busy this actually gets. So here it is all loaded up with people watching football. I can only imagine if it was MLB playoffs or March Madness, it would be just the same. Gives you a good sense of the space and the number of people it holds. So now we're going to head into the casino. Filming this fairly early in the morning, so nothing's really open. During a sea day, some of the slots will be open during the day, and the table games start to open up maybe about mid-afternoon. The stairs right here, those are the ones that would take you up to deck 5, the Royal Promenade. You can see right there. There is a full bar in the casino, so keep that in mind. It's right here. And again, table games, they have craps, roulette, blackjack. They do some single table poker tournaments and plenty of slot machines everywhere you look. Some of the claw machines, the coin pusher. Now we're heading into the schooner bar. This is a standard on any Royal Caribbean ship. And again, they have a full bar here, which is really handy. This is where they'll do some trivia during the day. At night, they may have somebody there at the piano playing the piano and singing and all. And it's just another one of those great venues to come and hang out. And this will give you a good view of the size of it here. And you can see we're right up towards the front of the ship, right where those stairs are. And we'll circle around. Now, the first thing we're going to see as we go past here on the left is Izumi. And that is the Japanese hibachi. That's a specialty restaurant, so there is an additional charge for that. So that's something you want to book if you can before the cruise. The theater's right in the front of the ship. So up on deck 5, oh, there you go. You can see some of those decorations they have. So remember, deck 5 in the front is the Star Lounge, and the theater is on decks 3 and 4. We'll get in there in just a minute. And we'll circle around here by the elevators. And again, if you turn right and go through the doors, that'll take you out to that promenade. Now, my intent here was to show you a great way to get into the theater without having to go down to deck 3, and you could be up in the balcony section. So if it's something you're not sure you want to attend, I guess you can kind of get an easy in and easy out. But I'll show you that in a little bit. This is going to wrap up deck 4 here. So now we're on deck 3. This map really gives you a good view of something. The way deck 3 is the only deck you can't walk from one end to the other because of Studio B, which is the ice rink. It kind of breaks the ship into two, not really halves, but two unequal halves right there. And this is what I get for trying to film early. Wanted to show you the theater, but it is locked. So we'll get there in just a minute. So really quickly, up here on deck 4, I just want to show you, these are the stairs that go down to deck 3. And we're going to take a quick little circle around. These black triangle things are the stands for the all the artwork that is probably up in the Star Lounge ready to get set up for the auction later that day. The people straight ahead of us are waiting in the main dining room to go to breakfast. And I recommend coming down here and at least take a look at some of the artwork. It's fun to see. It's not something I would buy, but I know people who have bought it on a cruise. So now we're heading towards Studio B, which is the ice rink on board. But on the right here, first of all, this is focus. So any of the pictures that you had the ship take of you from before you even got on all the way through the last day on the ship, they're able to be viewed and purchased right here. You just swipe your SeaPass card and it gets you right in. So as I mentioned, Studio B is the ice rink on board. And we're going to head in. This is open skate, and you're going to see it was very open. I think it was just a mom and her daughter, but they had the whole place to themselves, so they must have had a ball. But this, just to get a quick look in here, it gives you the feel for the size of this. And they'll even do they'll do an ice show in here, but they'll even at times do laser tag in here. They put a floor on top of the ice and all, but this gives you a good view. They actually have some kind of retractable seating here along the right. But these two must have had a ball to have the place to themselves. And now we can finally get into the Royal Theater. And it was worth the wait. They were set up and they were getting ready to do the performance of Grease that night. So you can see that straight ahead. And this gives you a really good idea of the size of this space. I would say that I've never been in here when it's full, but I actually went to the early showing of Grease and there were very few seats left. Now as we come around, to the right, you could have gone to the left. It is kind of a mirror image of itself. There is a full bar on each side. So if you're here for one of the shows and you want to get here early and grab a drink and just hang out, this is the spot to do it. And there's one more on the other end of the theater on that side. So now we're going to go where we entered. And we're going to head up these stairs, curve around, and the balcony portion on the theater is pretty good size. Now you do have a few of the spots where you have some of the the poles there in the way, so it does mess up a little bit of the seating, but it's not too bad. But again, this gives you a good feel for the size of this. And we're going to take a peek over here at that section where those doors are. And like I said, these are great if you're going to something here and you're not sure you're going to enjoy it. I usually come in on deck 4. If I'm not really thrilled, I get up and walk away. You're not really disturbing anybody. And to remind you here just in a second, another good look at the theater here, the seating. There is a full bar on this deck as well. And those will probably open about half hour to 45 minutes before any of the shows start. So now we're up on deck 12. No, excuse me, deck 11. And this is the spa and the workout area. They do have some classes in here. Looks like you got a championship. He's got his Independence of the Seas championship belt on. And we're going to come around to this side to get your workout in. Lot of Nautilus machines, free weights, treadmills, hill climbers, exercise bikes, everything like that here. They do have some TVs if you want to get something on to watch. But it's smaller than it was when the ship was originally built, but it's still a good size space. And we're going to circle around here. So on deck 12, the stairs here, I'll show you in a minute. On deck 12 is where they have the spa to get any kind of treatment or anything like that. They have a little bit of space down here, but most of that takes place up on deck 12, right up the stairs. And as promised, this is the end of the video with the tree lighting. Never been on a cruise ship for this, so this was kind of cool. They actually had it in the cruise compass, so you knew when it was happening. And they must have put it up in the middle of the night, because the night before there was no tree, and I got up early to go down and get some coffee, and it was sitting right there the next day. So a lot of people gathered to see it. It was a lot of fun to check it out. And you can see some of the people in these promenade view rooms. They really had a spot to see it all as it took place. He got on the microphone and did a quick countdown, and there we go. So a lot of fun. Tons of people were getting pictures there as soon as it was done. So keep that in mind if you're ever on a cruise with that. Thanks for watching the video, and please remember to subscribe. Thank you for checking out my video, and remember, if you're looking for a cruise, contact me and I'll find the perfect cruise vacation for you.